Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Giants have their secret weapon that can completely alter the course of the upcoming season. Darren Waller looked like a freaking star on prime time during the preseason matchup between the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers. And now that Saquon Barkley is back, the Giants gave him a raise. He is bought in. And then you got Daniel Jones there, who looks like a franchise quarterback. Meanwhile, the defense is still solid and they've added some first-round picks to this roster. We're going to break down what the rest of the NFL is sleeping on. A lot of people count Waller out because he regressed with the Raiders the past few years. But we're going to explain to you what really went down between Darren Waller and the Raiders. And Danny Dimes of the New York Giants, who recently signed a fat contract. I'm talking $40 million a year with the New York Giants. This guy looked like he was on the outs and then had a great year last year. And now he's the Giants franchise QB. And in this opening drive, he was absolutely clicking with all of his targets. And the main target he clicked with the most was, of course, Darren Waller. Darren Waller had 3 receptions on this drive. In total, Daniel Jones was 8 of 9 with 69 yards, a touchdown, and 135 passer rating. It doesn't get much better than that. And he was hitting other receivers on this drive like Hodgins, who's really bounced around from the Bills practice squad for the past few years and really made his name with the Giants towards the end of last year, and he showed that he is still one of their top starting wide receivers in this preseason game. And then of course Darren Waller was just the cherry on top. This guy was distracting every single defender. His presence was felt on absolutely every single play, and there was absolutely nothing the Carolina Panthers could do to stop the New York Giants from moving the football downfield. And you have Daniel Bellinger, who was a productive 4th round pick for the Giants in 2022. He actually was the 5th most in receptions on the team last year. This guy ended up getting the touchdown in this preseason game, but he was not the main reason why this touchdown occurred. It was obviously Darren Waller occupying the defense. They had to keep their eyes on this guy, and it created a wide opening for Daniel Bellinger. And so you already have some weapons who have some experience in the New York Giants offense, like Hodgins and Daniel Bellinger. And then you also have Paris Campbell, a former Indianapolis Colt who has just joined the Giants, and he's proven that he can be productive in the NFL. And then you got Daniel Jones, who showed today that he is still vanilla Michael Vick. He was juking in and out of the pocket. The defense could not bring this guy down. And you saw it last year with Brian Daboll, where you had the guy get 700 yards rushing. His highest before that was 2021 with 298 yards rushing, and the dude picked up 7 touchdowns on the ground as a freaking quarterback. And then you couple that with the fact that last year under Brian Daboll, he had his career low of interceptions, and he also had his career high of freaking yards, and also completed the most passes in a single season of his career. And then you add Darren Waller to this mix, and you take a look at what you saw tonight. Even Jalen Hyatt, the rookie 1st round pick, ended up getting involved in the action tonight, catching a deep reception from Tyrod Taylor, the backup quarterback. And the Giants defense was solid last year. They still have great pass rushers like Kayvon Thibodeau, and they also recently signed the stud defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence to a massive 4-year, $87 million contract. And Brian Daboll, the head coach, yes, they lost to the eventual NFC champions against the Eagles in the divisional playoffs, but this team was able to go far in his first year as a head coach last year, and now you're adding Darren Waller to the mix, and I think this is going to be a genius move by Brian Daboll that will completely shock the NFL. John Gruden once considered Darren Waller the best player he has ever coached in his career.
Before, I don't know if I've said it to you, but I'd take him out of any of the tight ends. And I know Kittle and Kelsey are as good as they get. And Waller's right up there with them. It's astonishing what this man can do.
If I could tell our rookies or our young guys one thing, I say, guys, just watch Darren Waller. You want to know what it takes to make it in this league? Just watch that man go about his business.
He's the best player I've ever coached, so I'm going to continue to look for him.
And you can talk all the crap you want about John Gruden, but this guy has coached a lot of great players. He is still a Super Bowl champion, accomplished coach, and when he says something, he means it. But things did not work out for Darren Waller and the Raiders last year. And even the year prior in 2021, he got injured around Thanksgiving and had trouble bouncing back. In my opinion, the guy had a close relationship with John Gruden, and I think John Gruden's cancellation really got to him in 2021 because, like he said, he was the coach he had the most fun playing under.
So who do you feel like prior to coming here you had your best relationship coach-wise with?
I would say John Gruden.
And that is a little different than last year in 2022 with Josh McDaniels. We're going to get into what Darren Waller's wife had to say about this guy in a bit. But initially, when Darren Waller joined the New York Giants, he threw shade at the Raiders, saying that the New York Giants actually listen to their players, unlike other places he's been.
As a player, I feel like a lot of places I've gone, it's, you're told to do things a certain way, and you do those things, and but here it's like they ask a lot of questions. They want to know what you're thinking, why, what do you like to do more, and so to offer input is a really cool thing.
And obviously, if this guy is praising John Gruden, he's only talking about Josh McDaniels when he makes these criticisms. And this makes sense why he was a little uncomfortable in Vegas last year, because like he says, the whole time, ever since Josh McDaniels arrived, they had been trying to get rid of Darren Waller.
Total shock because, I was hearing things about me being on the block since Josh and Dave showed up. So,
and that is really hard to deal with. You don't have many guarantees on your contract. You really want to ball out for this coach who you know is trying to ship you out any chance he gets. And it got even worse when we had this thing Weddinggate happen, and this really showed how things got a little personal between Waller and McDaniels. Weddinggate has been this long thing that's happened due to the fallout from Darren Waller and the Raiders. Quick recap, it starts out with Josh McDaniels apparently ruining Darren Waller's wedding. He leaked to the media during the combine that Darren Waller's wedding was happening, and Darren Waller apparently wanted it to be private.
It actually kind of ties into the whole wedding thing with Josh. Like, it's something I wanted to keep ultimately completely private from the team.
Darren Waller was frustrated about this and then eventually traded to the Giants by the Raiders during Darren Waller's honeymoon. And Darren Waller's wife, Kelsey Plum, who also works for Mark Davis and the Las Vegas Aces, made a tweet about the fact that, Waller was traded on his honeymoon and made a joke that Josh McDaniels was not invited to the wedding. And so we all had a laugh, we all had tons of fun, and then boom, Michael Lombardi, the freaking dad of the offensive coordinator of the Raiders, Mick Lombardi, then started talking trash on Darren Waller to make McDaniels look good.
He went home and just didn't even talk to anybody, just went home and left a message saying, hey, find me, I don't care, I'm going to Southern California.
This guy is saying that Darren Waller just straight up left, and didn't rehab even though he was supposed to and didn't talk to anybody. But Darren Waller has just corrected the record and said that he had mandatory days off and even told Josh McDaniels what was going on.
The Thursday through Sunday, which were mandated to get off by the league, that was when I proposed to Kelsey. I eventually told Josh, and that's how he knew and was able to, by mistake, tell the reporters that my wedding was happening.
So McDaniels knew he was leaving to propose to Kelsey during the bye week. He wanted to keep it private. He wanted to keep the wedding private, and he had a mandatory 4 days off Thursday through Sunday.
Instead of rehabbing, you went home for 4 days and it cured the fines.
But instead, Michael Lombardi is coming out of nowhere, talking trash, making up fake news about former players just to please his son's boss, Josh McDaniels. And then Lombardi has the nerve to also say, oh, by the way, I'm not just saying this just because my son works there.
It's always the players are right, the coaches are wrong. And I'm not saying this because my son's the coach there. And I'm not saying this because my son's the coach there.
And that is just so funny that you even had Darren Waller's wife talking about the head coach. But now Darren Waller is in New York. Things are different. Like he has said, this is his dad and his childhood team. It seems like he's newly motivated. He wants to prove the haters wrong, and he's already balling out with his brand new team. Coupled with the fact that the NFC is not like the AFC. The NFC is a conference that is wide open for the taking. The Philadelphia Eagles remain the main obstacle. So I think wild card is definitely on the horizon for the New York Giants, and because they won so many close games last year, I would be scared to play them because they could definitely catch you slipping, especially now that they have a great weapon who just might be the best tight end in the NFL when he is healthy. Let me know how you think the Giants are going to do this year. I think the sky is the limit. And if there's a team you want me to cover, make sure you let me know in the comments below. But if you want more NFL content from me, WiFiWillie, make sure you subscribe right here, right now. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.